As a non-native speaker, you might often feel inferior to native speakers because you perceive that you can never reach their perfection of grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. And you're maybe self-conscious that you're not a natural speaker of that language. Well, you should put those fears to rest because there are many, many reasons why you should feel confident in being a non-native speaker. Many people learning English believe that their accent gets in the way of them sounding proficient and they somehow feel inferior to a native speaker. Well, I'll let you into a little secret. I'm a native speaker and I also have an accent. I have a Scottish accent. It might not be a very strong Scottish accent, but it's an accent all the same. Your accent is fine as long as it doesn't lead to any big misunderstandings. Many students ask me, David, can you help me get rid of my accent? And I think, well, no, your accent is great. It's what makes your English unique. What I can help people to do is to improve the rhythm and maybe the tone of their speaking. And a lot of native speakers could learn this as well. We've got something in common. You as a non-native speaker and me as a native speaker. Both of us, we don't sound like the Queen. So there we are. Well, along with many of my compatriots, I never learned grammar when I was studying at school. All I did was write essays or do presentations, and the teacher would maybe correct my spelling or sometimes my grammar, but I would never learn things like the present perfect simple. We never learned about past perfect and things like that. It's just something that we absorbed. Now, you as a non-native speaker probably know more about English grammar than a native speaker. So if you feel unconfident about your grammar skills, maybe just go up to a native speaker and ask them what is the first conditional. And if they don't know, then you are more of an expert. Actually, that last sentence that I just gave you is an example of a zero conditional. So your grammar knowledge is probably better than most native speakers. I grew up in a country with limited exposure to foreign media. So most of the music and movies that I was exposed to, as well as the newspapers and magazines, were in English. So I didn't really have that experience of foreign languages. However, I'm pretty sure that you grew up in a country where there were movies in English, or there was music in English, or even some books or newspapers in English as well. And if there weren't, English music is famous all over the world, as well as Hollywood movies. So the great thing is that you have some English and you make conversation with native speakers possible, because there are many, many native speakers of English who cannot communicate in another language effectively. But it's thanks to people like you that you make communication with foreigners possible. And that's fantastic, which means I can meet people from all over the world and have a very interesting discussion with them. So thank you. English is a mishmash of Latin, Greek, Norman French, Old Norse, to name just a few. However, for the last few years, the English language has been pretty stable. It has evolved a little bit, but there haven't been many, many new additions to the language. So that's where you come in as a non-native speaker. You keep English fresh by adding your own kind of perspective on the language. In some of my lessons, my students constantly surprise me with some fantastically creative idioms and turns of phrase that they've maybe translated directly from their own language. For example, I had a Bulgarian student who said that a bear was playing in the neighbouring garden, which meant that there was maybe some trouble in another town that could have spread to their town. And I thought that was fantastic. I grew up in a country where bears are no longer present. So I would never have thought of saying that in a million years. So that's excellent. Please keep adding to the language. Feel confident that you have something to contribute to my native language. Every time you learn a new aspect of English and use it effectively, you will often feel a tremendous sense of achievement. As someone who learned and is still learning English from birth, I cannot remember the sense of wonder when I took my first steps in this process. I'm really envious of you learning English now, because you still have all of that to look forward to. And embrace this time, cherish this time, and savor every moment, because it is precious. So the next time you feel inferior, frustrated, or pessimistic about being a non-native speaker of English, just remember that you are fantastic, fun, fresh, and a fountain of knowledge, as well as being full of brilliant potential. So go out there and learn and be the best non-native speaker that you can be. Thank you.